I was always thankful for Fridays growing up as a kid because one, I knew I was going to be up late, I could watch my favorite shows, and I could play all night long. But the most important thing that I was most excited about was Fish Fridays, as my grandfather affectionately called it. I knew every Friday, like clockwork, we would have fried snapper, fries, and a green salad to go along with it. After the meal was complete and prepared, my family would get together. We would gather around the table. We would talk, joke, and laugh. Family dinners and reunions and holidays surrounded with my family are some of my fondest childhood memories. I mean, it deeply affected me and has made me become the person that I am today and has been a big part of who I am as an adult. When I look back on the food, it's always brought me and my family together. But not just any food, I'm talking about soul food. Today, I want to enlighten you about soul food. I want to talk to you about where it originated from, what types of food is considered soul food, and where you can find it. In an article from Britannica from author Anita Wolff, during the time period of the African slave trade from 1619 to 1865, regulated by plantation owners, slaves were given a bag of starch, either rice, sweet potato, or cornmeal, some meat, and a small amount of molasses weekly. There were no veggies, dairy, or fruit. With these rations, slaves preserved their African food traditions and adopted tradition recipes with the resources available. Now, soul food takes its origins mostly from Georgia, Mississippi, and Alabama. Now, with the collection of these states, they're also referred to as the Deep South. In the article, A Brief History of Soul Food, written by Colin Ford, the Reconstruction era during 1865 through 1910 is where soul food evolved from being a simple diet to more of a cultural phenomenon. African American churches is where this food became a huge part of celebrations, gatherings, especially in the South. So, now that I've given you a brief overview of the origins of soul food, let's talk about the delicious ingredients and dishes. In an article, A Humble History of Soul Food by writer Vanessa Hayward, there are 4 main ingredients and that is prevalent throughout soul food. These ingredients include 1, rice. Now, I want you to remember, before then, rice was never grown in the Western Hemisphere until the 17th century. This grain was brought over on the ships during the slave trade. The second ingredient is okra. Third is greens, such as collards or turnips. And then the fourth ingredient is pork. Slaves were often given the leftover cuts of meat, such as the head, feet, ribs, organs, and then they would be seasoned and cooked into tasty dishes. Corn and molasses are also ingredients often used in some of the most famous soul food dishes that you know of today. Now, there are plenty of soul food proteins that you can choose from, such as fried chicken, fried catfish, pork ribs, fatback, ham hocks, oxtails, pig feet, turkey parts, and so much more. But it's the side dishes that get it for me, like the macaroni and cheese, collard greens, black-eyed peas, hot water cornbread, fried green tomatoes, turnip bottoms, lima beans, and yams, to name a few. So, now that we've talked about those ingredients and dishes, let's talk about some of those restaurants and events where you can go to have some of those tasty bites. Now, when I'm having a lazy day and I just don't feel like cooking the soul food myself, I go to Doolin's Restaurant. Now, they're located in Los Angeles in the Inglewood area. However, you can also visit them on their website at doolins-sfk.com for their hours and locations. Now, if you're looking for some good fried chicken, you can try out Gus's Famous Fried Chicken. Now, this business is based out of Memphis, Tennessee, and they've finally made their way to California. So I definitely urge you, if you want a good spicy bite of chicken, give them a try. You can give them a try and go to their website at gusfriedchicken.com for their hours and store locations. Now for the events, there is the Taste of Soul LA. It is one of the largest festivals here in the month of October in Los Angeles. Now, make sure you bring your appetite, bring some comfortable shoes, because there's plenty of vendors and yummy bites to eat. Now, if you want to get a quick getaway and drive up to San Diego, there's also a soul food festival every August in that city. Today, I spoke to you about soul food and where it originated from. Secondly, what the ingredients are and the side dishes that come along with it. Lastly, we discussed the restaurants where you can find these foods and the yearly events that happen that also where you can find these foods as well. In closing, when I think back on Fish Fridays, yes, the food is yummy and delicious. It was. But I also gotta say, it was the love and the happiness that also brought the family together. So, the next time you prepare your next meal, make sure you add a cup of soul and a pinch of love.